another deep dive into leadership. And today, Lynn from Lincoln Healthcare Leadership. Jeanette, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
All right, and let's kick things off. First off, uh, tell us what you do in a couple sentences, but give us some background.
Well, first off, Lincoln Healthcare Leadership as an organization provides thought leadership and advisory in a very specific segment of healthcare. And a lot of that is on aging services. So we work with home health, hospice, personal care organizations, in senior living, with assisted living, independent living, and memory care organizations, and then also with the skilled nursing sector as well. We have kind of three major pillars where we work with those executives inside those organizations on building their leadership capability, influencing their business strategy, and bringing innovative and different thinking to where the future of their business might be. As the president of the company, I have a unique perch to be able to work across all of those sectors. We typically deliver our thought leadership at in-person executive retreats that take place over the course of about 3 days. They're just a great opportunity for executives to come together and have a chance to learn from one another, to get to know each other better, and just to know who else in the space is the most innovative and forward-leaning in terms of where the future of our industry is headed.
Wow, what a great service. And boy, that covers a lot of ground in what you laid out there. But let's cover it from let me ask next a slightly different perspective on that, which is why do you do what you do?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have had a hypothesis for my entire education and career that was focused on how can corporations or businesses leverage technology to do their jobs, their work, their business more efficiently and effectively. And from an innovation standpoint, that is one piece of what we do at Lincoln Healthcare Leadership. We're out looking for the best technologies that can move our various businesses forward. However, you can't do that without a really solid strategy and really great leaders to manage the change that comes with using those tools. So my why was almost backwards. It's really not about the technology. It's about getting the right leadership and a really good plan and enabling it with strategy. And that this feels like a true capstone of all of the things that I've experienced and learned throughout my career to get to be in the seat that I'm in with Lincoln Healthcare Leadership now.
Wow. And that leads right into my next question, which specifically, what are your goals as a leader?
Oh, my mantra is super simple, and it is to ensure that every person on our team has the tools and the resources and the training that they need to be really successful at achieving their goals. So it requires pretty tight alignment with where our company is headed, what each individual department or team in the organization is responsible for, and then getting it down to that individual person level of how do their contributions make a difference in terms of how Lincoln Healthcare Leadership in this case is successful. And I just want to be there to make sure that they have everything that they need to be wildly successful in achieving their individual professional goals, because I feel so passionately about the roll up of that in terms of how we move our own business growth forward.
I love the values you shared throughout that and how the focus is on your team and building them. And as you look around at good leaders, leaders that you admire, what would you say are the characteristics or attributes of a great leader?
I think there are two kind of business books that really, or philosophies that really stood out to me in the early forming of my career that are still, I think, really present and show up for me every day. And one of those is the servant leadership concept. And you can hear that in my, I just want to make sure that you have what you need to be really successful. I worked for many years in nonprofit organizations that were truly serving our constituent base. And I think I brought that into my last couple of, for-profit business roles to say, if you can really put that individual person first, what do they want? What do they need? How can we care for and nurture them as an individual? That's what's going to drive your business success. So servant leadership to me has always felt like it makes the most sense as the characteristics and the philosophy for being a strong leader. The second was a book that compares being a corporate leader to being an athlete. And I think we are expected to be on all the time. Like every single day that we show up to work as a leader, we're in the big game. Like my Tuesday is my Super Bowl every single Tuesday that I show up to work. And quite frankly, we don't take enough time for the training. We don't take enough time for the rest periods. If we were truly professional athletes, I'll pick on football because it's the most egregious with the least number of games. They've got the summer for rest. They've got the fall for conditioning. They've got pre-season games. Like let's play this out and see what happens. And I've never felt like we as a group of corporate leaders who are in the big game every single day in our roles have given enough time and attention to the training, the development, and the rest periods that it takes to be really, really successful. So I have definitely admired people who have put that energy and effort into their own self-development, their professional development, and have brought that to their teams, that there is something that we can be doing incrementally better or exponentially better for that matter, I guess, at any point in time. And that it is okay to take some off periods and time of rest to regroup and come back and be stronger than you were before that break as well. So those are kind of the two foundational leadership characteristics or philosophies that have just stuck with me for a long time. They're old books. If anybody wants to go pull those off the shelf and have a read, both servant leadership and corporate athlete, but they've really been foundational to how I think about leadership.
Wow. And again, there's so much you packed in there. I love the value set. I love the concept of relating it to the corporate athlete. And I love your football analogy, of course, because my dad was a high school football coach. So I've grown up in a football environment and culture. So thank you for sharing that, making me feel and understand your attributes there and what you're describing. But you also spent time talking about being a servant leader. And that's something that you and I know each other from Vistage. We've worked together the past few years there. And Vistage has servant leadership as one of their value sets and one of the things they're trying to help their members understand. But first of all, tell me a little bit about why you joined Vistage and what you see as the benefits of belonging to a Vistage peer advisory group.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think it's just an opportunity to be exposed to that personal and professional development with regular consistency. So because it is a value of mine, now I know every month I have an opportunity to sit with my peers and have a discussion about an important leadership topic or concept. I have an opportunity to kind of get some peer feedback on what I'm struggling with, maybe that someone else is struggling with as well. And then the coachable, moments and opportunities to just specifically say, hey, here's something that I'm struggling with. And so if you're going to do that, do the training, do the professional development, I think you have to be intentional about it. And the Vistage structure of regular meetings and commitment to the time with your coach and with your peer group, just to me really is a behavior that supports that value and characteristic that's so important to me. I think the second piece for me is just also having that connected network of
Okay.
people and individuals that, there's no one else who has my job at my company. And a lot of times that role as a leader, that's the same no matter what your company is. And so to be able to sit with a diverse group of, yes, we have different types of companies, but we're all leaders in our organizations. To be able to bend the ear of those folks has been just a real gift as I've personally been transitioning into a different kind of leadership role in my company than I had held in any other role before. So I specifically joined Vistage as I was transitioning from chief operating officer to president of the company. And I found it really, really valuable to be around other people who had made a similar transition and or sit in the same exact shoes that I do, to be able to pick their brain and get support that I just don't, get in my everyday in the current role as the president of Lincoln Healthcare Leadership.
Okay, very good. And just to be very clear, you've made a great contribution and you really are a leader in our peer advisory group. So thank you for that. Um, let's move on. As you look at your career, and at some point when you're looking back, sometime in the future, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be?
Well, nothing about me. I think what's most important to me are kind of my win list is the list of individuals who have grown and developed after they were working with me at some point, right? So if I look back and say, here's my journal entries of the things that I am most excited about and most rewarded about and most fulfilled by, it's knowing that someone who I worked with grew in their own personal and professional capacities. So if they went on, and ideally that's within the organization and still working on my team. But even when folks go on to, to bigger and better jobs and roles and responsibilities throughout their long journey of their career, like that to me is probably the most important thing. I would want I'd want to see the list of my legacy as the list of people who I worked with who went on to do really great and wonderful, amazing things in the organizations that I worked in or beyond in their careers.
That is such a great statement of and demonstration of the value of servant leadership. Your focus is on developing your team and what their success looks like and how you're helping them on that journey. Thank you for sharing that. And Jeanette, thank you for joining us today and sharing your lessons in leadership with our group.
Well, so appreciate the opportunity to work with you, Mike. It's been a fantastic journey and more to come. Thank you.
Very definitely. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Tetro. I'm an executive coach and I lead a Vistage peer advisory group for CEOs. If you'd like to learn more about Vistage or learn more about Lincoln Healthcare leadership, please reach out. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on our next deep dive into leadership. Bye for now.